It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today for a big time Masterpiece Friday edition of the show, except it's not Friday, it's a Wednesday. So how is that happening? Well, it is Thanksgiving week here in America, and we have a Thursday holiday, and we turn it into a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday holiday because that's how we roll. So we're taking a shortened week this week. However, I am still releasing 3 videos, what I normally do on each week, but instead of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday distribution, we're bumping it up and we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So here we are on a Wednesday, and what are we doing today that I am considering big time? Well, at the beginning of this month, at the beginning of November, I listened to Side 1 from Chicago Transit Authority, the debut album by Chicago, who was known then as Chicago Transit Authority. And I loved it. I knew a little bit of that, and I realized it's a four-sided album, y'all. So a bunch of folks were writing in saying how much they enjoyed the episode. They wanted to make sure that I got back to more of the album very soon. And so as we were talking last week, we're like, we should go ahead and get Chicago back on the on the channel. So we'll go on to Side 2, and I got to looking at it. Side 2 is not that long. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to do Side 2, maybe while I'm at it, I could do Side 3 because, we could fit that in. But then I thought, well, if we're doing Sides 2 and 3, Side 4 is over there going, come on, what about me? So that means today, right now, we're going to be listening to the debut album by Chicago, and it's going to be Sides 2, 3, and 4. So buckle in, y'all. It's going to be fun. I'm glad you are here. We're going to have a bit of a party, and so just let your hair down. We're going to hang out for a little bit, and we're going to listen to some great tunes. So this is following up, as I said, episode 481 that we recorded at the beginning of the month. In that episode, we heard Introduction. We heard Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is? And we also heard Beginnings. And so today I'm going to be just going through all the rest of the album, and it's going to be just wonderful. So as a reminder, this is their debut album that was released in 1969. It's a landmark, an important recording in the history of popular music. It is now in the Grammy Hall of Fame. Chicago is a unique band. They've got 3 different musicians sharing lead vocals. They have a great brass section. They also have the ability to add winds to that. They've got great guitar playing, great bass playing. I mean, everybody is a top-notch musician, and they're a larger band. And so they have this really unique sound to them. And this particular album is the one that helped launch their career, which continues successfully to this day, and with some of the original members still involved. So on this original recording, we've got Peter Cetera on bass and lead and vocals. Terry Kath is on guitars and lead and backing vocals. Robert Lamb is on the keyboards, and he is also on lead and backing vocals. Lee Lufnane is on trumpet, percussion, and vocals. James Pankow is on trombone and percussion. Walter Parazater is on saxophone, tambourine, and backing vocals. And Danny Serafine is on the drums and the percussion. So we are going to get started off with Side 2, and the first song is called Questions 67 and 68. I believe that I've heard this one, but I'm not very familiar with it. This one's written by Robert Lamb, and Peter Cetera and Robert Lamb share the vocal duties on this one. So off we go, y'all. Here we go. Right. Up a half step. Up another half step. Down a half step. Okay. Down a half step. Let's see what they're doing. They go to another half step down, and they're going to suspended chords and then 7th chords. Where are they going? That's 5-1. They finally found what key they wanted to play in. Where are they going? Whoa! That's the 5 they got back to. Interesting. They went flat 7-1 before they got there. That's 5-1. Then C, E, A, G, G. So right down all the way to the scale, then the C. It's doing what they did before. It's lovely. That's a minor third. So they went to flat 7 and turned it into just for a split second a place to go, and now they're here. If I knew this song, I don't know much of it, y'all. It's great. And the brass is all over this track. That was a 5-1. It was minor then. It's like back and forth between a major 7th chord and a minor chord. I'm going to stop trying to follow that and just enjoy the sounds. It's remarkable how heavy the brass chart is in this song. I saw where James mentioned that the horns were used throughout, and he ain't lying. Peter is a great lead vocalist. We didn't get him as a lead singer on side 1, so this is the first time we hear Peter singing lead. Cool, and they end in C. So once they figured out where they were going to land, they pretty much stayed there. Cool. So, Robert Lamb wrote this, and it was released as the band's first single, and it just looks about like it's a tune about a relationship. I don't know if it was recent or ongoing, but he has questions. And he was questioning just how, I think, harmful or helpful the relationship was, to his overall well-being. And he feels like he's asking so many questions that this must be questions 67 and 68. Out of how many? I am not sure. But yeah, I think that's the point of view there. Great tune. Absolutely great tune. And James, the trombone player, what I had seen from him is he had mentioned the heavy usage of the horns in this song specifically. And he said, we don't do that a whole lot anymore. And he said that he kind of considered the horns when he was charting that stuff out as like a choir of an instrument, right? All of the instruments together kind of form this harmonic sort of bunch, so they all sort of play together. And they've got a long show to play. That's a lot of chops using up on the first tune, but wonderful, right? So we move on. The next tune is called Listen, and this one is written by Robert Lamb, and Robert also provides the lead vocal. So let's hit it. Off we go.
All right, here we go.
He agrees. I don't think I've ever heard this. This is... That's a long note to hold for all of that. Cool. When is that G gonna leave? Listen. If you don't hear us, you can tell us. Or you can smile. It's all right. That'd be nice. If you just only listen. Play it, Terry. Some of the Council of Dougs, I'd be the guy back there on the cowbell. Just cowbelling away. Big time stuff. I love it. That's weird. G, A, B flat, A, G. This is so much fun. Cool. Kind of turns minor-ish. That's the end of Listen. Fun. I read that when Robert Lamb was writing that, he was writing about, I believe, some of their own experiences as a band just trying to make it in the early days, and they're playing at a local bar. And, you're there a long time, you're there late nights, there's low pay, if any, and you end up with people treating you like your background music, and you're like, just please listen to us. I think that's what that song is about. They're out there tearing it up, and everybody's paying attention to other things. And I've been there. I've been there a few times playing in bars where it's like, come on, there's 10 of you. We're up here. Could you at least acknowledge that we're trying to play? Come on. Fun stuff. Let's move on to Poem 58. This is another Robert Lamb tune, And I don't think I know this one, so let's see what it sounds like. Off we go. Guitar. That's a groovy riff. I think they're just strumming an A minor there. Nice. It's more bluesy than I expected. Huh. I like this side. It's got some great sounds. And Terry can flat out play. Let's not overlook Peter down there on the bass. And as I read the lyrics in this song, this is a love song, y'all. And it wasn't the way I was expecting this love song to sound. Completely different soundscape than I was expecting. I just love the construction of these tunes, y'all. This is the first time we've heard an extended guitar solo at the beginning of the song. We haven't even gotten to verse 1 yet, right? And they're just... Let's just play. Come on, y'all. I believe it's just static. They're playing over just an A minor chord. Which makes the musicality of it so impressive. It's really not going anywhere harmonically, and yet it's exuberant and powerful and fun to listen to. Look at it go. I talk about Terry and Peter, but Danny's no slouch on the drums either, right? Finally up to the high part. That means they're gonna change soon. Yeah. that's a chord that I don't know. Can't figure that out. Boy, the left ear versus the right ear sounds really interesting. I think I'm landing on a D. This is righteous. I've never heard this song before, y'all. And who's playing the theremin? Oh, that's a guitar. This is just nasty good. It's got such a rawness to the way that it's coming through. And the more that I hear Terry play, the more I really, really like his style. Like, really. It's like he's got one foot in, like, well-honed technique and another foot in, let's just play some experimental stuff and see what happens. You know? Musicality of their horn section. The crescendos and decrescendos. Ah! Take my money, y'all.
When you discovered all those new things, out when you first left the world, when you felt beautiful and you said hello to everything you saw, I could have been all so I could have known you.
It's a weird love song. Just looking at the lyrics.
Yes, I love you. Yes, I do. Yeah.
There's that chord again. Yeah, it sounds like just a weird 5 to me. To E. So that would have been something based on B. Okay, that's side 2. I'm having a good time. Should we go on? Yeah, we should go on. We're here. Let's keep listening. All right. I mean, you know, what else are you gonna do on a 4-day weekend? Let's listen to some Chicago, should we? So, side 3 starts with a song called "Free Form Guitar," and I must report that when I mentioned to the Council of Dogs over the weekend that I was planning on doing this, they said, "Oh, including freeform guitar," and I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. If that's on the album," they're like, "Yeah, we'll be interested to see what you think of that." So it piqued my interest, and as I read in, this is an instrumental performed by Terry Kath. It is a completely improvised guitar track, and I have some information about it. It says it's performed on a Fender Stratocaster guitar through a Showman amplifier with a twin 15 bottom utilizing a Bogan PA amp as a preamp. I have no idea what all of that means, but I've heard of Fender Stratocasters before. As I understand, they didn't use any electronic gimmicks or effects, and he didn't use any pedals. So I have an expectation that this is going to be an exploration in what sounds he can get out of his electric guitar. And that's about it. I've never heard it. So let's take a look and see what this is all about. It is Freeform Guitar featuring Terry Kath from Chicago. Here we go. Huh. At times it sounds like a guitar, like more like a car than a guitar. A car with a bad muffler. It's hard to even tell where he's at tonally because he keeps bending and moving pitches ever so slightly as he moves. All right, green light, go. I think I'm gonna go to our herbal friend for this one. That's amazing. I don't think I like it, but it's amazing. Yeah. I've heard pieces like this before, these like sound pieces. They're all about the actual sounds that you can improvise and get. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen, and it's a sound piece or a noise piece. Also gives me insight a little bit into the mind of this musician, the mind of somebody who would experiment and dwell within sounds like this. They're exploring the limits of their instrument, you know? surprised that this made it on the album. It's unlike anything else. Like, really unlike anything else. I feel like he's gone to the well on that particular technique a lot. And I'm waiting for more variety in the types of sounds. Especially with any sort of like traditional left-hand technique. That's not where he's going. We're about to the end of it. That's fascinating to me. You know what it makes me think? I wonder what it would have been like back in the day. You get through the first record and you listen to side one, and you listen to side one for a few weeks because you like it so much. And you turn over in side two, and side two's great. Just as good as side one. And then you're like, well, let's get to side three. What the hell is that? Like I said, it surprises me that made it on the record because it's so experimental, and the rest of the stuff is just so just right down the middle for soulful rock and roll with an expanded brass section. And that's interesting. I think that something like that would have been more effective for me personally if it was about half the length, quite a bit shorter. I think it was too long, and maybe led into a big time guitar riff to start a song. If it was an extended introduction to a song, maybe that could be more effective. But that kind of took me out of the feel of the rest of the album, I think. Let's see where it goes. And so the next song is called just called South California Purples. That's a minor league baseball team that I didn't know about. Just kidding. I have no idea what the South Carolina Purples are. Robert Lamb wrote this one, and I believe he provides the singing as well. So let's take a look. Here is South California Purples. Off we go.
All right.
Okay.
That's really greasing it up.
Nice to know they're having fun in the studio.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the right feel too. With the distorted guitar, you could have brought that guitar right into something like this. And Robert has a bluesy voice, does he not? To the four. Back to the one. I think they're in A minor. It's hard to get my bearings after that last one. Sol, fa, mi.
my mind.
Cool. Adds so much, doesn't it? Keyboard? Shut up! Cool. Why have I never heard this? The South Carolina Purples are my favorite blues band so far. Let's lay down the soul. Fa, re, fa, do, do. Think that's sol, te, ti, do, e, g, g sharp, a. Think that's what they're doing there.
I must be in the wrong place. Thought
To
this
the
was a
four.
wrong place.
D chord.
I must be in the wrong place. And I don't know where I'm going.
So the song's about a love affair that has gone bad.
Since my love
Makes total sense for a blues song.
no smile on my face.
Damn, Terry. You know, I had some council members tell me that Jimi Hendrix was a big fan of Terry Kath and they thought Terry was better than he was. Why have I not heard this? I love this. I should have brought my keyboard out for this one to play along. So we can play the blues, we can play experimental stuff. No, he didn't. He did the walrus? Nice. This is the grooviest Chicago tune I think that I've heard. I'm just gonna sit
But
here
it
and
ain't this LA.
groove a little bit.
I traveled such a long way. But it ain't this LA. I traveled such a long way. And I still don't know where I'm going.
Sol, te, ti, do, me, me.
Without my baby here, I better not stay. I better not stay.
Roll.
No, no, no.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it was just to fill out the rest of the album, because we're going to go on to I'm a Man, which is going to finish out side 3. I'm still stuck on on Freeform Guitar, and if that could have been adapted into an extended intro into the to South Carolina Purples, and have that song extended even a little bit more to fill out the side. I don't know. That's just an odd grouping of a couple of songs. But fascinating. So let's move on to I'm a Man. This is not written by one of the band members. This is from Steve Winwood and Jimmy Miller, originally by the Spencer Davis Group, released in 1967, a couple years before this album. So the guys in Chicago adapted some of the lyrics, and they lengthened the song from about 3 minutes to almost 8. And this was the B-side for questions 67 and 68. And the radio ended up playing both of them. And so even though the original version had charted and done well, the Steve Winwood version of it, the Chicago version also became quite well known. I think I have heard this one, but it's been a while. So let's see how much I remember. I'm a Man by Chicago Transit Authority. Off we go. Solado. There it is. I'm into it. Makes sense that a Steve Winwood tune would have some organ in it.
Well, my daddy sent a message about the whiskers on my chin. Never had no problem, 'cause I always paid the rent. I got no time for loving, 'cause my time is all you know. I spend my time creating for some groovy kinds of love.
Spend my time creating for some groovy kinds of love. This is cool. Alright, this one is a different singer. So Peter is singing this one. He sings a bit higher than Terry. Let Terry play. Different singer. This is Robert. Enjoying myself, y'all. believe it's time for a breakdown. You know, there was a spot in Ritual from Yes that I listened to not too long ago where they, like, let's just all play percussion with each other for a while, y'all. Maybe this is how they added some length to this song. I love it. I also love how the tempo is staying absolutely rock solid. Particularly singy tom drum in this year. How long does this go on? Oh, they're counting. 3, 2, 3, and. This music that you have to dance to, right? Back to Peter singing. Think about, I think this song is about boys being boys, which is why they let all of them sing. It's a relatively simple song, but it's got a great hook. They're treating tonic almost like a dominant, like coming down to it from the top and then coming down to it from a half step. With that D flat coming down to the C. They made it. Well, and we have made it through side 3. That concludes that particular side. Are you up for one more? I think I am. Let's do it, y'all. We're here. So let's keep at it. We got side 4. And this one starts with a song called Prologue, August 29th, 1968. And this track is credited to the band's producer, James William Guercio. And I believe, as I'm looking at the lyrics here and how short this is, I think this is recorded sound. And I believe it's going to go pretty directly into the next song, which is called Someday, August 29th, 1968. I have them separated out. So if they are, nested like that, I'll move pretty quickly. So here we go with side 4. It is Prologue, August 29th, 1968. Here we go. This is the voice of a militant or a demonstrator.
Let's go. Get out of here.
Police say, get out of here. The whole world is watching. So you had a leader saying, if we're going to jail, then let's go. All we'll do is move forward. And if they lock us up, we knock it off, and God give us the blood to keep going. And that's going to... Yeah, it will go into the very next tune. So the next tune is called Someday, August 29th, 1968. I think, I'm pretty sure, they're talking about the Democratic National Convention. If you look up that date in history, that's the number one thing that happened, at least here in America. The Democratic National Convention in 1968, which was held in Chicago, which is how I think it intersects with these guys, that turned violent as the Mayor Daley gave the local police, the Chicago police, permission to do pretty much whatever they wanted to stop the demonstrators who were there demonstrating against and protesting against the ongoing war in Vietnam, and calling on their representatives and their political leaders to heed their message. And it got kind of bad. So yeah, I have delayed long enough. Let's keep going. This segues, I think, directly from what we just heard into what we're going to continue to hear. Off we go. Well, that's discordant. So, fi, re, do, so, fi, snills.
Would you look around you now and tell me what you see? Faces full of hate and fear, faces full of me. Do you
That's a
feel
weird
the
chord progression.
rumblings as your head comes crumbling down?
Dum,
Do you know what I mean?
dum, dum.
Run, you better run, you
That's a-
know the
That's a
end is
tritone move at
getting
the beginning of that.
Feel the wind of something hot come whistling past your ear as they try to get you where it will upset you down. Now you know what I mean. Someday you will see how long we've waited for the time.
So that's Peter
Show
singing.
you how
A
we
minor,
died
F,
to get together with you all.
Goes down to minor third. That's an E. E flat. Sol, Fi. Back to that. E flat. E flat. Down to an A. F sharp. E flat. May. Do. I kept saying Ray. It was May.
Twist and turn your head around till everything's unclear. Twist and turn your arm around until it is not there. what I mean.
Okay. So they're kind of adding their voice to the war protest, I think.
Can you look inside yourself and tell us what you see? As you feel the rumblings, as your head comes crumbling down,
Great songwriting.
and you know what I mean. Someday you will see how long we've waited for the time to show you how
Gunshots
we shine
on 2 and 4.
together with you all.
Dang. Down to half, the whole step. That's weird. Ba-dum-ba-dum, B flat, B flat. That's just discordant, isn't it? So was the time. Confusing. And it ends like that? Wow! Okay, guys. They're showing a lot of range within the style that is kind of their own. You know, so we've seen like what happens if it goes a little bit experimental. We've also seen what happens if it goes a little bit political in it. The whole world is watching, right? And so they're talking about, I think they're just asking questions more than anything. They're like towards the end itself. Can you look around you now and tell us what's to be? Can you look inside yourself and tell us what you see as you feel the rumblings, as your head comes crumbling down? And you know what I mean. Yeah. Like a lot of songs about war that take that speak to the question of why. You know, it's just it's a traumatic thing when conflict like that arises, and so it's tough. It really is. And I've never heard that before, friends. I need to read up more on the actual events of that day, of the Democratic National Convention itself, to speak with more specificity and credibility. Let's say that. I just know a little bit about it, but not very much. But that was a fascinating tune. Let's move on, shall we? We got one more. And it's a long one. It's called Liberation, and this is an instrumental. I think there's just a couple of little things that get said or sung. And this one's written by James Pankow, the trombonist of the group. And, you know, I should mention, I have been using the 2002 remastered version of this album. If you are used to the original and you're like, wait, that sounds a little bit different, I've been using the 2002 remastered version that is available on YouTube, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. So let's finish it out with Liberation from Chicago Transit Authority. Off we go.
11.
11. Is that where their amps go to? And somebody burped. That's hysterical. That's hysterical. If they made surfer movies on the shore of Lake Michigan in the 60s, this would have been the soundtrack. You know? Except they would have had a Chicago dog. Or a deep dish slice of pizza, you know? Go Cubbies. Go Bears. When in doubt, give Terry a solo. That's what I'd do if I was writing a song. So I'm guessing just an extended jam. I can handle that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Catch how they moved into compound meter? Just naturally kind of metamorphized into that. And now they're back into 1 and 2 into simple meter instead of compound. That's interesting. They're just kind of slipping back and forth into the compound feel versus the simple feel. I wish they turned the keyboards up a little bit. Most of this over one chord. I think it's B flat. So what's your favorite side? Chicago fans. If you were going to pull this out and you haven't listened to it for a while, what side are you putting on first? I think I'm going for side 2. Really enjoyed that today. Peter wanted to go to the 4. Terry said no. One thing that's really interesting to me in a song like this, for a band like this, where's the horn section? You hear the bass, the guitar, the drums, the keyboards. Is this where they get to take a break and let the other people shred for a while? Is it on purpose? Because I would have thought, you do introduction at the very beginning. You've got all those solos. Why not replicate it on the back end and say, we have been Chicago Transit Authority? We're only halfway through. Maybe they do come in. It's still just on B flat. And now I understand some of the point of view of Jimi Hendrix regarding Terry's playing. These extended free-form solos where you have to provide your own color and momentum because it's not harmonic. The harmony's not going to push it forward. You got to do that yourself. He's wonderful. Kind of an apex. All right, start your car, Terry. I hear the note on the bottom as like a dominant, so this might be just like function in the song as a big, long, dominant prolongation, but what is in the keyboards? There's the brass. What? It's mimicking a police siren. Liberation. Are they relating this to the song before it? Is the entire side part of the political statement? That's loud. was a lot of tension and layering that just builds and builds and builds and builds. And it just rests. Just 4-1 over tonic, so it's just an extended arrival on B flat, but a whole different kind of B flat from where they started, and Terry was playing over most of the time. A more stable, contented B flat. Oh, thank you, people. That's a choice. I was thinking they were going to leave it and just let it sit there, and that's the end of the album, but they've got more to say. Oh, give it to me. I can wait for it. Come on now. Boy, that's well mic'd drum set. That sounds like it. All right. We did it, y'all. We got to it. We got to side 2, 3, and 4. I have now heard all of Chicago's debut album. I don't know why it took me this long, but there was more of that I had not heard before. Then I realized. I'm going to go back through a little bit. What did we hear? We heard question 67 and 68. That I had heard. I wasn't too familiar with it, and there were parts of it that were unfamiliar to me, but that one I had heard. What a lovely, lovely tune that was. Brass all over that one, as I recall. And then we got to listen, and they're just, that one, what I remember most from that is that big time guitar solo in the middle of it from Terry. Poem 58 I hadn't heard before either. Yeah, just wonderful. The freeform guitar, I'm not sure what I think about that. The only thing that I'm pretty sure I think about it is that it was too long. But a fascinating look into what you can do, what sounds you can get out of a guitar with a couple of amps and a little bit of imagination, right? Fascinating. South Carolina, California, Purples, with the Beatles quote from "I Am the Walrus" in there, that heavy blues tune. I absolutely grooved to that one. That one I hadn't heard before, and I really, really liked it. I'm a Man, I had heard a little bit, but I don't think I had heard all of that. I or I don't think I'd ever heard the album cut. I think I've heard the solo or the single cut of that. Really wonderful. And then side 4, the centering on the events of August 29th, 1968 in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention, with some embedded sound and with their take on the war, the ongoing war at that time. It's an amazing album, y'all. They're coming out of the gate, and that's I know they've been together for a few years, and so they had honed their sound, and they had a lot of songs and things to say, and they cover a lot of folks, and they're great players, each in their own right. So they come out of the gate, and it's just song after song after song. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all strong. It's great, really, really great music, and it's there's no question, right? I don't need 67 or 68 of them as to why they've been around and a looked to and respected popular music band for as long as they've been around. I know that they're still producing music and touring some, and still going strong after all of these years. So wonderful to get to the rest of Chicago Transit Authority, the debut album from this wonderful band, released back in 1969. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you next week with more episodes, but that is all for now. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.